Welcome to part 6 of the Legend of Zelda playthrough. I was going to say something about the 2017 blowout that we're having at the moment. Yes, the Wizrobes. We are now introduced to Wizrobes, ladies and gentlemen. Wizrobes! The brown ones tend to disappear, but the blue ones are much faster, as well as, they tend to, just move about. They can also go over blocks, too, so bear in mind of that. You're nowhere safe from them. Aim at the eyes of Goma. This is the boss I was thinking of. Yeah, if you get an old man that tells you, this person doesn't like this, or aim for the eye of whoever. Usually they're talking about the boss of this dungeon. Of the dungeon that you are in. In this case, it just told me, aim for the eyes of Goma. Goma is the boss of this stage. So therefore, what do I need to do to... So therefore, I need to aim for something, right? Do I sure whip my laser beam? No, actually, the only way to beat Goma is by using the bow and arrow. Is by using the bow and arrow, which, may I remind the audience again, that the arrows cost you rupees. May I go through the entire explanation of using rupees as the arrowheads? Okay, let's see here. We got these gelatin monster things. Speaking of Jello, has anybody ever tried a pistachio muffin before? Oh god, those things are delicious. Don't know what I'm talking about? The, pistachio muffin, essentially enough, it has some pistachio on top of it, but it tastes like that, green Jello pudding stuff. That's pistachio pudding. It tastes exactly like that, and it's heavenly! Oh my god, I wish I could have that every single day for breakfast. I will never get tired of those things. Oh, they're so fucking good. Oh, my mouth is literally watering just from the thought of that. Then again, I'm also kind of hungry too at the same time. Ugh! I got caught by a like. Ugh. The best method of tackling a like that is lay down bombs, I guess. Lay down bombs, activate your sword, whatever it takes to get out there. I think you have like about 2 seconds before it eats your shield. I cannot remember because after my first run through of trying to keep the magic shield, I don't want to go through that again. So that's why I never got the magic shield. 1, health insurance. 2, it's... In that sort of regard, it seems like that is just putting a lot of unnecessary stress on me. You know, if a like catches me, it's not going to do any damage to me. It's just going to eat my magical shield, which cases I don't have. So therefore, its attacks are futile. And basically enough, it just kamikazed itself. Or committed suicide, however which way you want to look at. Do I even have the magic sword? Yes, I do. Okay, it's got a different graphic than the white sword. White sword is basically the white sword is basically the this one sword graphic, only that it resembles an actual sword. Whereas the magical sword, it's like an actual icon. It's a completely different graphic. The reason why I'm using bombs entirely, I know I'm getting pretty late into this, but the reason why I'm using bombs, whenever I get hit by those disco balls of death, is that, when you get hit by those things, your sword becomes unusable. However, you can still use your bombs, your arrows, and whatever kind of attacks that you would have. Now, what is the threshold of this dungeon? I cannot remember. Great way to show that you actually do remember the entire game from back to back. Yeah, that doesn't really stop you from... That doesn't really stop the blade traps from trying to hit you like that. I was talking about the stopwatch. The stopwatch stops enemies in the tracks, but that doesn't really stop the enemies in the blade traps from touching you, or the items from disappearing. Blade traps being these blue things that just stick to the walls. Okay, so, I don't want to face off against the boss quite yet. Can I enter through there? I think that was the only time that you can actually do that. The dungeon where you fought Manhandler for the first time? As an actual boss? I cannot remember. Is that the only time that you can actually, like, have a bumble? No, wait a second. I remember now. There's another point in the game where you do actually have to use bombs in order to get to the boss itself. It's a rematch of an earlier boss, but it's a boss of the dungeon nonetheless that holds a heart container, as well as the next room holding the Triforce piece. Let's see here. What rooms have I not gone in? Is this the fabled snake room that I keep on claiming? I feel like it is. Oh, hello! This is actually a mini-boss. This is not the actual boss. This is not the boss. See, if it would have been an actual boss, it would have dropped a heart container upon defeat. But it didn't, so... Yeah, luckily those things on the side of that... Hey, the map! That does not look like a snake whatsoever. It must be like Dungeon 7 or 8. Speaking of which, now I remember the locations of the dungeons. Dungeon 1 was the tree trunk that we've been to. Dungeon 2 is on a mountain, on the... It's not too far off from the first dungeon, though. Dungeon 3 is on the other island, though. As soon as you cross the bridge, you head downwards. Oh no, wait a second, as soon as you cross the bridge, you go 2 screens left, down 1 screen, and then 1 screen right. Dungeon 4 requires you to use the raft. Dungeon 5 is the staircase area. Dungeon 6, the one that we are doing right now, is located... I can I remember? Ah, the magic rod! Nice! The magic rod doesn't really require any form of magic, believe it or not. In any other games, if you acquire some sort of like magical item, then you will have like a meter for that. But in this case, no. No, that's not the case. There are secrets where fairies don't live. That's a lot of secrets. Anyways, Dungeon 6, I believe, was the graveyard. Ay, ay, ay. Why is the sound loud all of a sudden? Whoa. Yikes. You might have to turn your sound down, folks. I'm trying to deal with mine. Wow. Since when did the sound get louder? Whew. What am I trying to think of here? God damn it, the sound is still really loud. Holy cow. There we go, that's a bit better. I am terribly sorry, I'll try to fix that. Whoa. I don't know how that happened. I guess the emulator picked up me adjusting the sound settings a bit? Maybe I thought I wasn't recording the sound loud enough, so I guess I turned up the sound? I don't know, but I'll have it resolved. I'll turn down the volume on this one. On this point. I think now we can actually exit the place. Or fight the boss and then actually exit the place by grabbing the Triforce piece. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just about done here. Dungeon 6 is the graveyard. Dungeon 7 should be the lake. And Dungeon 8 should be the bush. Anyways, this here is Goma. Pretty simple boss, really. We have to fight two of these blue versions of Goma here. But the only way to fight Goma is by using the arrow. God damn it! I told myself to take a look and see if whether or not the door will be locked. I think the door locks behind you, so practically you just soft-locked yourself at that point, unless you die. You have no lives and continues in this. If you die, you die. But you do get sent back to the... You do get sent back to the very first area that you were at when you started the game. The reason why I paused right there is because I just noticed that it looks pretty... The Triforce looks pretty strange with just this square hole in the middle of it. It's just a square hole. Go up here, and this is where Dungeon 7 should be. You have to use the flute to drain the lake.